Welcome to a mid-year budget check-in. Hi everyone, my name is Jackie. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over my yearly budget for the year 2021, and we're going to kind of take a look at the first half of the year and see how all the numbers panned out, and then we're going to take a look at the next half of the year. If you missed it, I did a life update video and I mentioned a lot of income and expense changes that we had. So you're going to see all of that reflected in the future months. So we're currently in August of 2021. This is my yearly budget. You'll notice it looks very similar to my monthly budget. All I've done is added where these would have been my weeks. I just added enough to have 12 months, so January through December. If you see these little star asterisks next to a month, that means that there's 5 Fridays in that month, so we have an extra paycheck. So the first thing we start off with are our sources of income. These we like to calculate before taxes. So the first category here is you're going to see my husband's income. When he started off the year, he was making $23.10 an hour, and he just received a $2 an hour raise with his last paycheck in July. So now I went ahead and updated it to the $25.10. His base pay is 40 hours a week. So you can see here what he's made as his base pay, how it changes month to month, obviously based on 5 paychecks versus 4 paychecks. And if we scroll down for the rest of the year, you're going to see how that changes. He was making $3,696 before taxes. Now he'll be making $4,016 before taxes. He's on track to make a little over $50,000 for a year, and that's just his base pay. Then we get into his overtime pay. So his overtime is time and a half. So again, this is his new reflection. This is the new number, $37.65. At the beginning of the year, you can see here, he had 2 months with 0 overtime. And then they started to bring the overtime back. Last time when I did this budget, I had estimated 8 hours a week of overtime for every month of the year, but obviously that wasn't happening. So what I decided to do instead, to keep ourselves in a safe position, if you will, is for the rest of the year, I budgeted with no overtime. That way it's extra and we're not worried about, is it gonna use, or do we need that money for bills? Like, what are we gonna do with it? So Ricky's on track to make $61,760 this year, which is pretty good. Myself, I'm now making $19.70 an hour, 40 hours a week. For January through March, I was working part-time at Amazon, making $15 an hour. And then I resigned, and then I was on unemployment until August. This month is where I'm starting my new job at the hospital in patient registration. Because of my previous experience within the healthcare industry, it helped me to get hired on at a level 3 right out the gate. Obviously, if you're a level 1 or level 2, you're going to make less than what I'm making, at least in our location. You can kind of see here, what I've made each month. Obviously, April was when I reapplied to go back on the pandemic unemployment because I did get COVID. And then it was approved in May. So May, they're basically reimbursing me for April and then May at the same time. And then at the time, Arizona was paying the extra $300 a week for the pandemic unemployment. And with the regular Arizona unemployment, I got $100. So I was getting like $400 a week. Arizona has canceled the extra pay, which doesn't matter to me because I got a job. But what they've done is that for people who have gone back to work full-time, once we've worked for like 320 hours, basically a full-time, 8 to 10 weeks full-time, we can apply for a $2,000 grant, which I actually did put in here, right here in November. I estimated possibly getting that grant. So I'll be working August, September. I will put in my application for that grant or whatever they're calling it, a bonus. I think they're calling it a bonus. I don't know, whatever they're calling it. And then hopefully in November, I'll get it. It is a first come, first serve. So hopefully I won't be too late to get that. But then you can see here, starting for the rest of the months of what I should be typically seeing, I'll be bringing in about $3,152. So I'm looking at for this year, $27,000. next year, once I'm full-time for the whole year, I should make about $40,000. So that will be awesome, because I basically came, being a stay-at-home mom for the last 10 years, basically not really bringing in anything, to now bringing in almost, about $40,000 a year. It's going to be a huge jump for our family. Our cash back. So we have a Discover It credit card, and we earn 2% cash back on gas and food up to $1,000 a quarter or something like that. And then we get 1% cash back on everything else. So you can see how this fluctuates each month. It just depends on what we spent. We have base bills that come onto that card. So like our cell phones are paid directly from the card. Our internet's paid from the card. Our car insurance is paid from the car, our food, our gas, and then anything else. So if we're doing a home project, or we're, getting clothes, or whatever we got to do, that all goes on the card. And then every week we pay it off. So we earn all that cash back, and we never owe them the interest rate. So you can see here we had fluctuations between $80 back, 50, 30, 70, just kind of depends. For the rest of the year, I'm just estimating, 30 or 25 bucks, which is just our basic monthly bills. And then we'll see what happens. We're going to try not to do a lot of spending the rest of the year, because we have some bigger goals you're going to see down in the bottom there. The next area of income is our interest from our bank account. We used to get like 2.2% cash back, or not cash back, but interest. We'd earn that in interest. Now it's down to like 0.5. So, we're seeing like $3, $3 to $5 in there. So I'm just leaving that for the rest of the year, kind of lowballing it. But basically, cash back about for the year, we're on track to have about $607 worth of cash back and $45 worth of interest. So that's all, free. That's free money. So keep track of that, you guys. You might have an extra couple $100 that you didn't realize you had. Our next one is our bonus reimbursement. So when I worked at Amazon, I got a $150 bonus for completing peak season. And then Ricky, every year they usually get a bonus. So they only got $600 bonus this year. So hopefully next year we'll be back to, regular. And then the other one we have here in October is a $700. This is that health bonus I was talking about in my previous video. If we are in healthy ranges of certain tests every year, we earn money from my husband's company. So by basically $1,450 worth of bonus type income for the year. B-Day money. So my dad gave me $50 for my birthday. So that's awesome. I always try to count it in there. So I don't always plan on having birthday money, but if we do have it, then I do count it in the budget. That way we can tell it where to go and what to do. So we don't have anything else expected for the year for birthday money. Basically, my self-employment is my YouTube channel. With my self-employment, the first thing that happens is 15% of whatever I'm making on YouTube goes into my savings account for taxes. 5% goes into my savings for what we call a quarterly bonus. And then I pay my cell phone bill, and I pay the internet bill. Whatever's left goes to our personal budget, or half, if I've made a good amount of money, like in February, half of it came over here. But as you can see, it's dwindling down, because if you don't make videos, you eventually stop making money. YouTube is a semi-passive income stream, because as you can see, I didn't make any videos since February, but I still made a little bit of money. For the rest of the year though, I'm just anticipating nothing, because as I start bringing videos back, maybe that income will increase again. But this is just a hobby for me, so I'm not reliant on any of this income. It's just cool that it pays for my cell phone and the internet. And then October, you see this will be a little bit of a bonus out of our profit account. So I'll get like $20 in October from that. So we're only bringing over $442 from my self-employment. However, my self-employment for the year is looking more like about $2,000 from YouTube. All right, the next area we have is, this was our cash out refinance and the escrow account refund that we had. Okay, so we refinanced in June, and we kind of took out, I say kind of, $35,809. Like I mentioned in my other video, we paid off my car, which was over $19,000. And then we put the other amount in the bank. So we had budgeted about $11,000 of that for our house projects. And then a couple thousand of that is to sit into savings to help us start building up a savings for our teardrop trailer. And then in August, a nice little surprise, we just got a refund from our escrow account. So if you're not familiar with how that works, every month when you're paying, if you have a mortgage, part of your payment is your property tax and your homeowner's insurance. Now these are not paid on a monthly basis. Usually your homeowner's is paid on a yearly basis and your property tax might be paid quarterly or twice a year. So what they do is they put this money in a savings account for you, which is called your escrow account. And then as those bills come due, the mortgage company is paying those bills. Well, when we refinanced, we had the new refinance had basically credit. We had put in like a year's worth of our homeowner's insurance and a little bit extra on property tax and things like that. So we had an excess of $926 in the new escrow account. So they refunded it to us. Again, we got to make sure we're telling it where to go and what to do. So it is in our budget. And then we have the stimulus check. Another thing I forgot to mention in the other video was because my daughter's school currently is offering free breakfast and free lunch, and they offer an online version and an in-person version, they qualified for pandemic food stamps or pandemic EBT during summer break. So you're gonna see that here. So we had January, we had our stimulus. So we make under the income threshold as far as qualifying for stimulus check. So we got the full amount of stimulus check, and we have 2 kids and 2 adults. So we have 4 people in our household. So in January we got $2,400, in March we got $5,600, and then you can see here in the summer months where we got that food stamp money. Again, I put in here that $2,000, the possibility of having that back to work bonus from the state of Arizona for getting off of unemployment and getting back to work. The last category we have as far as income is our regular tax return, our tax refund that we had in March, and then we got refunded for the unemployment, the taxes we paid on unemployment from last year, and then we have the new child tax credit. So again, we are under the income threshold, so we qualify for the child tax credit. Our kids are over the age of 6, so we get basically $3,000 per child for the year. They decided to turn it into a monthly payment at least for the rest of this year, and so if you divide that up, we basically are getting $500 a month for that. So you'll see here in March we had a $1,699 tax refund. In July we got the $500 child tax credit, and then we got reimbursed about $1,400-ish for the unemployment taxes, and then you can see the $500 child tax credit for the rest of the year. So for this year, we're estimated to have $145,000 worth of money coming in and out of our hands. That is significant. That is a huge amount of money for us. We used to survive on $30,000 a year. When I started this channel, so a lot of you know, you've seen us grow and progress and just go through all of these phases of life, but it's huge. Obviously, a lot of this money was a one-year deal, right? Stimulus checks aren't going to keep happening. Child tax credit might happen. They're trying to keep it going till 2025. We'll see. The bonus to go back to work isn't going to always happen. Obviously, refinancing and take cash out, that's not always going to happen, but that's a huge amount. But in general, though, if we look forward to next year we're on track to make about $108,000. That's just huge, from $30,000 a year, and we've done this all within basically since 2016, so like 5 years. So within 5 years, we've basically tripled our income, or even more so. I don't know exactly. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. And a lot of that has to do with us just educating ourselves, reading Dave Ramsey's books, Tony Robbins' books, David Bach's books, T. Harv Eker, all of these personal finance books, and just reading them all, comparing them, trying out a bunch of different ways and seeing what resonates with us and what works for us and sticking to that. So these types of budget right here, this is called the zero-based budget method. So we're telling every dollar where to go. We're keeping track of every dollar. And that came from Dave Ramsey. Now, do I still follow all of Dave Ramsey's principles on the baby steps? Obviously not, right? But that's where some of these other people come into play, and I've learned from them and implemented them and what's realistic for our lifestyle. But you can just see how this has helped us grow, right? So it wasn't just a matter of getting a different job, but it was learning how to manage that money, and then really seeing like, hey, our expenses are as low as they can go. Our only other option now is to make more income, right? That's always going to be your two options. You either cut your expenses or you make more income. That's what's going to help you. But the biggest thing is getting on a budget so you can manage that money. There's my tangent for you. Our next category is paying ourselves first. So my husband currently has a 401k with his employer. We have automatically 6% of his income going into his 401k, and we're invested in 3 different mutual funds. But you can see here, average between $220 to a little over $400 a month for what he's adding to his retirement right here. And you can see that continue through the rest of the year. So he's on track to put about $3,741 into his retirement account. And we have certain goals. We want a certain amount by a certain age. So we need to be investing a minimum of $300 a month for us to reach that goal. So the next thing is I have Roth IRA. So at the beginning of the year, I had a Roth 401k with Amazon, and they were matching half up to 4%. So I did have that set up when I was working there. So I was only working part-time. It's not very much. So I was putting in like 60, 50 bucks. And then now I'm not investing. When I left Amazon, the match that they provided, I did not get, because you have to be working with them for 3 years before you can keep that match. So that's something to think about when you're joining an employer's 401k. Also, when you leave the company, you have to convert that into an IRA. Well, because I already had a Roth 401k, I just did it to a Roth IRA, and I just have one investment. It's just one general mutual fund, kind of like an S&P 500 type deal with Vanguard, and I'm just leaving that in there as is. I'm not going to invest anything else the rest of the year, again, because we're going to be working on paying off Ricky's truck and saving up for our teardrop. I basically only added $167 to my retirement account. So this is savings payback. So we had our emergency fund saved. We did have to replace our hot water heater in December, so we had to use part of that savings, just things like that that come up. So we basically took, these paychecks to kind of pay back part of that. So we put another $1,233 back into our emergency fund. So we do have 1 full month of expenses in our emergency fund. Also, some of our expenses went up, so we did add a little bit to the emergency fund to make sure that we had 1 full month covered. I feel more comfortable having at least a minimum of 1 month of expenses, and while we tackle this other stuff. Once the other stuff is tackled in the next 4 or 5 years, then we are going to be, and we want to pay off the house within the next 4 or 5 years. We'll be updating or upgrading our emergency fund to the 3 to 6 months. But for now, we have 1 month in there. These are in blue because this means this is money it's saved or invested. It's not gone. It's not spent. Black means that money's gone. We will not see that money again. The most stuff that we're doing right now are just gifts in general. So birthdays, holidays, if we tip when we're going to the hairdresser, if we tip when we're eating out, if we make like a care package for the community. This donation, this is if we donate to a specific thing. Usually that can be written off. I do have here for this month $64.77, and that's the back to school supplies. So we donated a bunch. We just put $50 for the rest of the year, and then $500 for Christmas. That's usually we usually spend about $600 for Christmas between doing gift cards for our extended family, and then just doing like actual presents for our kids, and that's usually it. So that's pretty much what we have coming up for the rest of the year, is saving up for that Christmas. August is my daughter's birthday, so we do have money in there for that. Now we get into our necessities. So these are things that we have deemed important to us, or they just have to get paid. So the first section here, you're going to notice these are all the stuff that comes out of paychecks automatically. We have our federal taxes, we have our Arizona state taxes, we have Medicare taxes, Social Security taxes, our life insurance for the entire family, Ricky's long-term disability insurance, and then our health insurance. So all of this comes out of Ricky's paycheck, and then I will just have some taxes. You can just see, what we've paid. Our health insurance is $87.50 a paycheck, so you see this fluctuates between $439 to $351. So I did try to update this to be more taxes coming out. So we're just gonna have to see how this plays out for the rest of the year, so we can plan next year a little bit better. So these are all kind of guesses, you guys. I kind of guess, and then I update them as they happen. All right, so here is a big change that we had, was our mortgage. So we used to pay $1,032.65. You can see this month in June, we did not pay anything because we were refinancing. And then our new payment is $1,419.82. Okay, we went from a 20-year to a 15-year. So that increases your payment, but also we took some cash out. So we borrowed a little bit more money, but like I mentioned, we paid off my car. So if you scroll down here, my car payment, paid off in June, it was $449 a month. So now you can see for the rest of the year, we no longer have that car payment. If I take our old mortgage payment, 5 plus my old car payment, we were paying $1,482.38 a month towards a bill. So now if I subtract our new consolidated bill, we're saving $62.56 a month. That's huge. To have the ability to pay off a car, do home projects, and lower your loan by 4 years and still save $60 a month, that was a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. So you'll see that here, right here. Now I also want to make a point out. Everything that we budget, this mortgage payment that you see in July's budget, this is for August 1st payment, okay? So we try to have the money for the next month with that month, right? So everything in August right now is going to be for September's bills, and that just helps us stay a little bit ahead. Sometimes it's only a few weeks ahead, sometimes it's a full month ahead, but we're a little bit ahead. Okay, home improvements and maintenance. So this $569, this was part of the cash flow we did have for the hot water heater. I can't talk. And then this 20 is just getting air filters for the air conditioning. Here we did end up purchasing a few things for the house. And then here you can see the $12,000. This is what we put in from the refinance so that we could do the home projects. $62, this was basically because I had the bug guy come out to spray and we had to get some more light bulbs. So things that are not like a everyday type of thing, we're counting it as maintenance or improvement. We don't have anything planned for the rest of the year. This money that's in the savings account, half of it has already been spent because we've already did half of the projects, but I have a whole separate house budget template that I use to track that money spending. Our next thing is our groceries. So this one we've updated, we've kind of changed throughout each month as we're trying different things, but also our kids are growing a lot. My oldest is almost as tall as me now, so that's crazy. I'm a short person though. This is what we were spending at groceries. This is not eating out. This is either meal deliveries or the actual grocery store. What we've done for the rest of the years, because I kind of looked back and said, okay, well, how much are we realistically spending? So I changed it so our budget is $120 a week at the store is what I noticed we were spending. So that's what I did for the rest of the month. So $480 or $600 for those 5 paycheck. Personal / pet care. It used to just be personal care. Now we have 2 leopard tortoises. So at the beginning when we bought them, basically buying we have an indoor enclosure for them and we have an outdoor enclosure for them. Getting all that together, personal care, other things are haircuts, clothes, deodorant, feminine products, toilet paper, shampoo, like all of that type of stuff that we would need for the house. So you can just see, how each month is different. You just don't know what's coming on from month to month. And you'll see this big one right here. That was, I had to pay that medical bill for the hospital visit. So again, personal care is part of like our health bills. Also, what I have in this one is my chiropractor. I go to the chiropractor. I have a monthly thing for them. It's $69 a month. And then I'm back to the gym, which is $25 a week. So I put that under personal care. So you'll see that for the rest of the year right here. This is all of that. This is the chiropractor and the gym. Obviously, if we end up getting more haircuts or we do other things, this is going to change. This month we anticipated a lot because my daughters do have some fillings we need to have filled. We do not have dental insurance, so we do need to pay cash for that. So we're cash flowing it. We're not taking it out of savings. And that's going to be about $665 for them. But we also did haircuts and we bought more Herbalife products and things like that. So we did spend back to school shopping. The next one is household. So this is different from our home maintenance. So this is everyday household items. Paper towels, paper plates. But I have a big month right here. I have a few big months. I was starting to try to stockpile up a few things. This might be the tortoises enclosure. I don't know. So these I don't track separately. I just, as the month goes on, that's that. So I don't have anything planned for the rest of the year yet. Now we have Ricky and Arcadia's cell phone. So at the beginning of the year, you see Ricky's cell phone bill's $35. In, what month was this? May. Both mine and Ricky's phones crapped out. So we had to buy 2 new phones. That's what that is. Then in last month, July, we bought my daughter's phone. And then you can see here our bill has gone up basically $25. I thought it went up about $25. Electric, so we have electric and solar. Our solar panels do not cover our electric bill 100%. We have had our solar cover our electric in the summer before, but this year it did not. So we still had some bills with electricity. You can see here our lowest one was $11. So pretty close to having zero for electric. But on average, I think it's more like, we're basically, if I take the whole year, about $60 a month for electric. And then our solar, our contract with them is $81. So that doesn't change. We did have, for last month, it was $123. So for the next 2 months, I went ahead and budgeted $124. And then I lowered it back down because as stuff starts to cool off, our electric should go down. So I have $60 budgeted for that. Our water, sewer, trash. This has gone up slightly because we are now watering our fruit trees more. So we were at $58.79 and now we're at more like $69 or $65. Again, I already mentioned we paid off my car, so we don't have that payment anymore. Now Ricky's truck. This is another big expense that changed. His old truck was $369.83 a month. His new truck, $500. I'm almost embarrassed to share this with you. $591.97. Ugh. So, why am I not really stressed out about that? Okay, one, let's do a little bit of math, shall we? Because that's what I like to do. So if I take his new payment, the $971.97, and I subtract what his old payment, what we were already paying was, that's an extra $222. However, like I mentioned, we saved $62 by consolidating my car. So we've increased our monthly expenses by $160. Ricky's raise added about $300 a month to our income. So that covers this added expense of the truck. And there's still a little bit of extra money left over. So the key here for us was to make sure that all of our expenses are most basic expenses were covered with just Ricky's income. That way my income can help us really get ahead, and Ricky's overtime can also help us get ahead. Gas. So this, it's really hard for us to estimate what gas is going to be. One, Ricky drives a truck, so it's more. Two, he's currently at a job site that's far away. It's like an hour away. So obviously he's using more gas. So I tried my best. I had changed it from $80 a week. So now I upgraded it to $100 a week. We have $400 or $500 a month for our gas. Our insurance went down slightly to $232.09. So this was for full coverage on the truck and the car with a $500 deductible on both of them. And then when we upgraded his truck, so our new payment is $244.46. We pay the motorcycle insurance yearly, and that's like $70. So we went ahead and put that in here to pay that. This also covers full glass coverage, roadside assistance, all of that. Next thing is maintenance. So this is maintenance on the vehicles. You're going to see a big one here in March. Ricky's motorcycle, the alternator went out, so we have a new alternator, new battery, stuff like that done. And then this is just like oil changes and air filters and stuff for the other vehicles here. Again, we don't have anything planned yet. Registration. So the truck registration, because we registered the old truck, that was $183. My registration was $359, and then the motorcycle we registered for 5 years and is only like $67. So we don't need to renew the motorcycle until 2025. These are due in June. Ricky's now will probably be due in July, but basically we're saying they're due in June. However, Ricky's new registration is closer to like what my registration is. Next one are my daughters. So they can earn their age every week for doing chores. So that's what you're gonna see here. If they don't do the chores, well then they don't make the money. So you'll see like this month they made, this much. Last month they only did 1 week worth of chores. So we'll see how they do the rest of the year. These other ones you'll see have more money. These are from the stimulus checks. So we specifically put money in their savings account. You'll see here we had $120 for my daughter for summer break. She did the cross country. Okay, this is our exciting part here. So our extra debt payoff. Okay, so like I mentioned, we want to buy a teardrop trailer. It brand new was about $12,000 something. So we're going to save up $14,000 to buy this teardrop cash. That way we can cover, tax, title, registration, and then if there's anything left over, that's going to go towards just making sure we have the proper ball hitch on Ricky's truck so that we can tow it. So you see here, $14,000. We should be able to have that money by November. We've already put this much into savings, and this is what we're looking like for the rest of the year. What we've decided on Ricky's new truck, well, let me come back here first. So on his old truck, we paid off $2,250 extra on the old truck. We started the year off planning on paying off his old truck, but then when we talked about getting a teardrop trailer and him wanting to upgrade his truck, I was like, let's go ahead and just upgrade your truck. So we stopped paying extra on that one. This, though, did help us with our debt to income ratio when we refinanced, and then by paying that extra off. It also helped with just having any type of money for trade-in value with the truck as well. Obviously, we didn't do anything for these last couple months. We were kind of refinancing the house and figuring out what we were going to do. I had COVID, you know what I mean? So we weren't doing anything there. The plan is for the rest of the year to pay $650 up on his truck until we have the teardrop money. Once we have the teardrop money, then everything else will go to the truck. So you can kind of see what we have here. These numbers came from after we did all of the numbers down here as well. So I'll go over those in a minute. Like I mentioned, we paid off my car loan. So it was we owed $19,697. So we paid that off, but that's that. Extra mortgage principal, we're not doing anything this year because again, we're going to focus on these two goals. Once we have the truck paid off, we have one more savings goal that I'll talk about next year because it's for next year. And then once we get that other savings goal out of the way, everything else will go towards the mortgage. So the goal is we're still going to have the mortgage paid off by the end of 2025. That's the goal. Now, obviously the fun part, the fun category, right? What do we got going on? So eating out, we just eat out whenever. We used to be very stickler about only eating off the dollar menu at the fast food restaurants, but lately we've just been going to restaurants and we've been enjoying ourselves. So you can see we have a lot more higher bills. Also, Ricky was eating out a lot for work. And it's just, there's that. We're going to try to reel it in because we have these other goals now that we have goals set. And we're going to try to just do $30 a week. So you can see 120 and 150. So we are going to go back to no restaurants for the rest of the year and just stick to the dollar menu once a week. We'll see if that really happens. Yeah. The next category is events. So this could be like birthday parties, bringing food or drink to other people's events, movies, bowling, trampoline park. That's what we've done as a family doing things. So you can see for this month we do have 50. So we have the $100 for giving and the $50. This is what we're going to use to go together for my daughter's birthday at the end of the month. We don't have anything planned for the rest of the year. Not to say anything won't come up. If obviously if we get invited to a birthday, and we do like to bring drinks or food or something to those parties sometimes, so we'll see. This other one is date night. So this isn't that Ricky and I actually got to go out. It's more or less, I'm gonna be real with you, it's alcohol for the house. More, maybe a dinner. Now last month though, we did go out a full date night, but we also went out with some friends and we went and did Topgolf and we went out to eat and had drinks and we did the whole thing to celebrate my new job. So we did spend a lot in one night. Went crazy. The Topgolf, if you go on the weekend, it's like $50 an hour. So half of this was just that and the other half was like food and drink and all that. But we had a good time. And I'm really glad I got my job and we celebrated, so I feel good about that. The next one, this is Ricky/Jackie. So anytime Ricky spends money on Amazon for tools or whatever, or if he spends money at the gas station randomly, I'm not counting it as his gas station buying as eating out, counting it as his, because I'm trying to keep track of what he's spending versus what's really gas money, because up here on these gas monies, anytime he spent money at the gas station, I was counting it as gas, and then I realized that he was eating or getting Gatorades or from the gas station. So I try to start separating that out just so we have a better idea of what's really gas and what's not. So I kind of separated that out. Also, this includes, if you see here for the rest of the year, what's a set bill, this $48.89. I forgot to mention this in the update video. I started laser hair removal treatments. So I'm getting my armpits, my Brazilian, and my lower legs done. I've already had 3 sessions. I paid a good chunk of it, a few months ago, probably here. And then it's a monthly thing for like 18 months. So basically every 6 weeks I go for the armpits and the Brazilian. Every 8 weeks I go for the legs. I'm actually, this weekend, I'm going for all of it. And it would be, I think, my 4th session on all of them. So far, seeing really good results, especially my armpits. But that's what that is. That's $48.89. That's my laser hair removal. So I did put it under here. But then the rest of this, you'll see here a big chunk right here, $2,850. This is the study material and the certification exam. I'll talk about that more in a different video. But it is within the medical field. It's not for the position I'm currently hired to do. It's for a higher up position, not management position, but it's for a different position within the revenue cycle of healthcare. So I did pay for my study material and the exam and my practice tests and all of that. So I should be taking that exam pretty soon here. But that's what this big chunk is right here, was for my education. Now we have Prime and Netflix. So we went from $15 a month up to $29 a month. This extra expense here is anytime the girls order anything on the PS4, if they do V-Bucks and Fortnite or whatever they buy, whatever they're buying, that will go into this category, because we used to pay for the monthly PlayStation thing. We no longer pay for that. And our last one is our vacation savings, or if we've spent it. So you can see there's months where money has been spent. We still have money in the savings account for the trip in December. So we have a Florida trip in December. This year we did do a houseboat. We rented a houseboat earlier this year. And then some of this was pre-paying for the Airbnb for the Florida trip, that type of stuff. The rest of the year, we don't plan on adding anything to it because we have everything in the bank already. So basically the way I work the budget is I go through and I do the things that are coming out of every single paycheck no matter what, right? So that would be like the investing, the taxes, the bills that are set with a certain amount. Then I go through and I say, okay, what are the fluctuating bills? And I budget those out. Then I go through and I do like the fun type stuff. Then I go through, then, we'll see how many times I can say then. Then I go through and try to cash flow anything that's not normal, like going to the dentist, right? Those type of things. Then whatever's left is coming up into the debt payoff. So again, we're sticking to the $650 and then everything else into there for the trailer. And then everything else will go into there. So you'll have to join me next year because I already have 2020's budget planned out. And we'll see if I'm on track at the end of this year, if next year's numbers are still going to be relevant. But you'll have to join me at the beginning of next year, and we'll go, or maybe the end of this year rather, to see how next year is going to be, how we're going to pay off Ricky's truck, and what is the other thing we're saving for. Yeah, so that's everything, right? That's the update. So that's where the money came from so far, how it was spent or saved or invested, and then where we plan on going with the future income for the rest of the year with our new expenses. Again, leave a comment down below if you want to hear more specifics about anything in more detail. We'll add it to our poll and we will all vote on it. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.